guys, Derek here with Tap and Turn Gaming, coming at you today with an EDH deck tech. Now today's deck tech will be a little different than usual. Normally when you see a deck tech like this, it is for a subscriber requested deck, but this is going to be for a deck that I'm building, and I'm just looking for some input on it to how I could make it more on theme. And I'm the type of guy who's more about the deck being on theme than just throwing in good stuff. So the deck is going to be Lyzolda the Blood Witch and her Cult of Personality. Musical reference, thank you. Basically, it is going to be a very sacrificial themed deck based heavily off her ability. So let's take a look at Lyzolda. She's a 3-cost 3/1 human cleric, and you can pay 2 and sacrifice a creature, and she will do 2 damage to target creature or player if the creature was red that you sacrificed, and you will draw a card if the creature you sacrificed was black. And if the creature you sacrificed was black-red, then you can do both. So her ability alone will generate some ways to have a sacrifice outlet, and that's pretty cool in itself. And this is going to be a revamp of my old Rakdos Lord of Riots deck, which was based off Rakdos Lord of Riots and his ability to make creatures cheaper and be very aggressive, and just it ended up being not really my style of play. So let's take a look at the deck. We'll start with the lands. Basic black-red land deck. Basic black-red mana base. We have Akum Refuge, Auntie's Hovel, Blackcleave Cliffs, Blood Crypt, Bloodfell Caves, Bajuka Bog, Cinder Barrens, Command Tower, Dragon Skull Summit, Graven Cairns, High Market, Lava Claw Reaches, 9 Mountains, a Rakdos Carnarium, a Rakdos Guildgate, Reflecting Pool, Shadow Blood Ridge, Smoldering Marsh, 10 Swamps, Temple of Malice, and Valakut the Molten Pinnacle. As you can see, it's pretty basic. What it does is what it does. I mean, Valakut may seem like a silly choice, considering that I need 5 other mountains in play and I'm only running 9 mountains. 10, 11, I guess 11 mountains if you catch the dual lands. It's just in there for the potential for extra damage. Not so much that it's going to be like a crush thing to win, but the potential for extra damage is there. So for our sorceries, we'll go over those next. We're running Crux of Fate, Dark Petition, Diabolic Revelation, Extinguish All Hope, Increasing Ambition, Life's Finale, Ruinous Path, Shattering Spree, and Vandal Blast. For our instants, just a couple here. We have Hero's Downfall, Murder, and Terminate. Just a couple of pretty solid removal spells. For our Planeswalkers, we're going with Koth of the Hammer and Liliana of the Dark Realms, solely because both of them are the best Planeswalkers in our colors for Mana Excel, as Koth can untap a mountain or he can generate red mana, and Liliana can let us tutor for a swamp and later on let us tap our swamps for 4, so that's more or less why she's in there, as well as Koth. For our artifacts, we're running Soul Ring, Rakdos Signet, Rakdos Keyrune, Nim Deathmantle, Kolagon Monument, Illusionist Braziers, Darksteel Ingot, Conjurer's Closet, Ashnod's Altar, and Altar of Shadows. Altar of Shadows may seem like an odd choice. It is a pretty clunky 7-cost card, but I like what it does. I can pay, at the beginning of my pre-combat main phase, I add black mana to my mana pool for each charge counter on the altar, so at base level it does none. But I can tap 7 and it to destroy target creature and then put a charge counter on the altar. So that's really nice because it just is a way of a nice repeatable kill for you to sink in some of that extra mana you have made, you may have laying around at the end of your opponent's turns. For our enchantments, we're running Attrition, Black Market, Dictate of Erebos, Grave Pact, Impact Tremors, Mind Slash, Oversold Cemetery, Palace Siege, Sanguine Bond, Vicious Shadows, and Warstorm Surge. And then lastly for our creatures, we're running Aberrant Overlord, Anarchist, Blood Artist, Boris Devilboom, Butcher of Malakir, Defiant Bloodlord, Erebos God of the Dead, Ghoulcaller Jissa, Grave Titan, Grave Crawler, Inferno Titan, Kalitas Trader of Get, Krenko Mob Boss, Mogus God of Slaughter, Murderous Redcat, Phyrexian Plague Lord, Perforous God of the Forge, Rakdos Guildmage, Runescar Demon, Sadistic Hypnotist, Sheoldred the Whispering One, Sidisi Undead Vizier, Skeletal Vampire, Sting Scourger, Timaret the Murder King, and Zulaport Cutthroat. So at its heart, this deck is really going to be sort of a black-red sacrifice/control deck, and it has a lot of cool nuances going to it. For instance, I have a pretty much like a 2-card, 3-card win combo that I can put in here. So if I have down, where is it now? If I have down my Ashnod Zalta so I can sacrifice a creature for 2 mana, and then I play my Murderous Redcap, he'll come in, he'll do 2 damage. That's pretty cool. Sacrifice him to the altar. He's going to die, obviously. He'll come back because of his Persist, and he'll do 1 more damage. So he's done 3 damage, and I've generated 2 mana. And then I'll sacrifice him again and generate 2 more mana. Now I have 4 mana floating. I can use that 4 mana floating in conjunction with Nim Deathmantle to therefore res him out off that 4 mana and generate infinite damage. Then I have things like Aberrant Overlord and Boris Devilboon, Ghoul-Caller Jissa, Grave Titan, Kalitas Trader of Get, Krenko Mob Boss. I'm sure there's some more in there somewhere that are going to be generating me some tokens that I can use to sacrifice towards Lyzolda. And then once I get out Dictate of Erebos and Grave Pact, or my Butcher of Malakir, which is another Grave Pact effect, you can really go pretty crazy with the sacrifices. I actually really like Boris Devilboon because he produces black-red tokens, and they're demons, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool considering that the Cult of Rakdos worships a demon anyways. But I like that fact that I can make the token with Boris and then sacrifice it with Lyzolda, and it's going to let me do the 2 damage and draw the card. And that's pretty cool. So it's got some good things going on in the deck. Mogus, God of Slaughter, may seem pretty subpar to some people. I like him mostly because it's a cult, so having those 3 gods in there is sort of on theme for me. Again, I really love theme a lot more than function sometimes. But he also applies constant pressure, that at the beginning of your opponent's upkeep, he either deals 2 damage to them, or they sacrifice a creature. What'll happen in the beginning is they'll sacrifice creatures and sacrifice creatures and sacrifice creatures. If they have, almost all decks generate tokens, so they'll sacrifice their tokens until they don't have any more. Then they'll have to start sacrificing their life. And when he's done enough damage, it really becomes a difficult choice for them. It really is. It gets harder and harder to choose which one they want to do. Then we have like Zulaport Cutthroat in here and Blood Artist just to apply that pressure while things die. We have Grave Titan, who goes infinite with the Ashnod's Altar / Nim Deathmantle, because I can sacrifice a token and then sacrifice him, and then use the Nim Deathmantle with the 4 mana from the 2 sacrifices to then go ahead and res him again and generate 1 extra token every single time. So that's pretty nice. Krenko's just going to get us a lot of tokens. Phyrexian Plague Lord is going to let us sacrifice our tokens and give creatures a -1/-1, so that's very, very nice. And then we're also running Sadistic Hypnotist, so that we can sacrifice creatures to shred our opponent's hands. It's really, really good. Excuse me. We play an Aberrant Overlord, and we get 4 or 5 Harpies. We sacrifice, 3 Harpies to the Sadistic Hypnotist to make our opponents sacrifice 6 cards. Now they're in top deck mode. And unless they draw an answer, every turn we're going to make them sacrifice more guys, discard more cards. And we're going to keep them in top deck mode just with that control that we're going to be applying to them. But yeah, this is more or less my deck that I'm going with here, my Lyzolda the Blood Witch. I'd really like some input on things I could add or take out. Like I said, I am going more for theme than function. But I think just on the surface it looks like it's pretty functional. And I already have most of the cards. I start assembling it. But I would like to, really know what other sacrifice outlets I could put in or what else would be effective. Because I think it'd be pretty fun. I think she's a fun, lesser-used general. And I like the lesser-used generals more than the really, really popular high-tier generals. I like ones that people hit the board when you play them. People don't think you're going to be a threat, and then you just turn out to be a monster later on. That's always fun. We're pretty heavy on the creatures, pretty heavy on enchantments. Pretty fairly matched between black and red. We have a pretty terrible curve. It's just all over the place. It's no good, but it is what it is. That's why I run a bunch of mana rocks. I think I run 5 or 6. I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana rocks, and I also have the Ashnod's Altar, which generates mana, and the Altar of Shadows, which generates mana. So 5, 6-ish mana rocks. But this has been Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming. I hope you enjoyed my Lyzolda the Blood Witch EDH deck tech. Please tell me what changes you would make or things you would add or take out and all that. Thanks a lot for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you later.